Students, our next topic is on muscle tissue. It is on muscle tissue. So muscle tissue is also called as muscular tissue. This is another type of animal tissue. Till now we have discussed about some of the animal tissues like connective tissue, nervous tissue, even epithelial tissue also. Right? So this is another type of animal tissue that is known as muscular tissue or else muscle tissue. Muscular tissue or muscle tissue. Okay? So can you guess what is the main function of muscle? Yeah. Muscles are responsible for movements in animals. Movements in animals. So all type of movements, whether those movements are voluntary or involuntary, completely under control of the muscles. But different type of muscles play different role in that. Okay? Coming to the characteristics of muscle tissues, all the muscle tissues are almost elongated in nature. Elongated in shape. Elongated means what? Lengthier, means longer in nature. At the same time, they are tubular structure wise. Okay, suppose you can check here three types of tissues. Three types of muscle tissues are in longer in length, right? Almost similar to the cylindrical shapes. So they are elongated in nature. And these muscle tissues are also called as muscle fibers, or also known as muscle fibers. So why do we call them as muscle fibers? Because these muscle fibers or the muscle tissues consist of fibrous components. They are known as muscle fibers. These muscle tissues consist of fibrous components known as muscle fibers. And these muscle fibers are made of proteins. They are made of proteins. So, can you connect these proteins with the muscles? Have you get any relation between proteins and muscles? Definitely. Proteins are the body building components, right? Right or not? In lower classes you have studied proteins are responsible for body building or body development. Suppose any elders or your parents, whoever doing gym work or workout at your home, definitely you can ask them which type of diet they prefer to shape their body. Definitely protein rich diet instead of carbohydrate or fat rich one, because these proteins are responsible for development of the muscle tissue. Okay, proteins are they are responsible for development of each and every type of cell. For every type of tissue they are required, especially for muscle tissues proteins are needed. Muscle tissue consists of different type of protein that is known as contractile protein. Contractile protein. Okay, so this contractile protein contracts and relaxes. Because of the contracting and relaxing of the contractile protein, that leads to the movement in the tissue. Automatically that leads movement to the animal body. Okay, so contractile proteins, sometimes they contract, sometimes they relax. So because of contracting and relaxing, what will happen? That particular muscle tissue can perform some movement. Particular muscle tissues start performing some movement that leads to movement in the animal body. Movement in the animal body, right or not? Suppose you want to stretch your hand. During the time, some of your muscle tissues definitely should contract, some of your muscle tissues definitely should relax. It's vice versa action. Forceps relax, triceps contract. During the time, what will happen? That leads to the movement of your hand. Okay, that way this contractile protein is very much essential for movement of the animal tissues. Okay, remember these movements are voluntary as well as involuntary. Whatever the case, muscle tissue plays a crucial role in the voluntary movements as well as involuntary movements. And coming to the three different type of muscle tissues, they are skeletal muscles, cardiac muscles Okay. Other one is smooth muscles. Here you can check the structures also. Skeletal, cardiac, smooth muscles. When you understand the terms, their function also you can connect according to the terminology. Suppose you see skeletal tissue or skeletal muscles connected to the skeletal system. Okay. Coming to cardiac tissue or cardiac muscles, they are connected to the heart. And smooth is somewhat simpler in nature, and it plays major role in all involuntary actions. Major role in all involuntary actions. Okay. So detailedly we will see what are the different functions performed by the different type of muscle tissues. Coming to the first one, the first one is skeletal tissue, skeletal muscle tissue. You can check here, that is skeletal muscle tissue, right? So name itself suggests you or tells you where it is located. Definitely this tissue, if you see, this tissue is responsible for all voluntary actions performed by the body. Voluntary. So what is meant by voluntary? Whatever action we perform with our consciousness. Suppose you want to stand up. With your consciousness, intentionally you stood up. And whenever you are performing any workout or gym activity, right, or you are playing a game, you are playing a sport, during the time with your consciousness, all your muscles are involving carefully, and they undergo for the movements. So such type of movements are known as voluntary movements. Such type of movements are known as voluntary movements. So that based on their function, these skeletal muscles are also known as voluntary muscles. They are also known as voluntary muscles. Okay. Coming to the characteristics of skeletal muscles, these muscles are long, cylindrical in nature. Suppose you can check the structure. I'll try to draw here. You can check structure of a single muscle tissue or muscle cell. If you see, it's long and cylindrical in nature. Suppose you can check here, this is cylindrical in shape, right? And they are multinucleate. What does mean multinucleate? Actually every cell is single nucleate, right? But this is the exceptional case. Skeletal tissue is multinucleate. Many nucleus are located on them. Many nucleus are there, so that we call them as multinucleate. At the same time, they are striated in nature. Striated means whenever you observe this tissue under microscope, dark and light color patches can be observed. When you check this structure under microscope, dark and light color patches can be seen on the tissue. Okay. Dark and light color patches like this, striations can be observed. So as the striations are present, we call that as striated muscles. We call that as striated muscles. Okay. So why do we call them as actually skeletal muscle? Because these muscles are attached to the bony parts or to the bony areas, so that we call that as skeletal muscles. Like that, 3 different names are there for the skeletal muscle tissue, that is nothing but striated muscles, as they are having striations on their cells. Dark and light color patches or stripes can be seen, so that we call them as striated muscle. We call them as voluntary muscles because of these muscles, all voluntary actions whichever with consciousness we perform are under control of these skeletal muscles, so that we call them as voluntary muscles. Okay. And we call that as skeletal muscle because these muscles are connected to the skeletal system or bony area, so that we call them as skeletal muscles also. And remember, they are multinucleate in nature and they have striations on them. Suppose you can check here the structure or the characteristics. They are long, cylindrical cells, they are multinucleate, and they have striations on their appearance. Okay. So because of their characteristics, different names are given to the skeletal muscle tissue. So can you tell me what is the main functioning of this skeletal muscle? Exactly, all voluntary movements performed by the body, animal body. So these muscles are also called skeletal muscles as they are mostly attached to the bones and help in movement. Okay, under microscope these muscles show alternate and light dark bands or striations when strained appropriately. As a result, they are also known as or called as striated muscles. The cells of this tissue are long, cylindrical, unbranched and multinucleate. The movement of, okay, because of these things we call them as skeletal muscles. Okay, and function wise, if you see, what are the voluntary functions? Voluntary movement, manipulation of environment means according to the environmental stimuli. These muscles can perform the response. They contract and relax and perform the response. And another example, they perform the facial expressions. Suppose you are frowning or you are angry or you are smiling, whatever it is, all your facial muscles are involving in giving the particular facial expression. So these three are some of the examples of the functions. Location already we discussed. Skeletal muscles attached to the bones, occasionally even to the skin also. Because facial expressions case, you cheek areas, if you see, there is no bone. Directly they are attached to the skin. Okay, sometimes they attach it to bone and occasionally to skin also. So that is the that is about skeletal muscle tissue. So what is the second type of muscle tissue? That is cardiac muscle tissue. That is known as cardiac muscle tissue. So the muscles of the heart show some rhythmic contraction and relaxation throughout the life. These involuntary muscles are called cardiac muscles. Or heart muscle cells are cylindrical, branched and uninucleate. Okay, so coming to detailed discussion about cardiac muscles. The name itself telling you cardiac is present or located in the heart. Okay, so this tissue is located only in the heart. Okay, they are commonly known as heart muscles. And what is the characteristic or shape of them? They are cylindrical in nature and branched and uninucleate. Means some of the characteristics of skeletal tissue, some of the characteristics of smooth tissue they possess. Suppose you can check this structure. What I said, they are cylindrical and they are branched. Okay, they are cylindrical and they are branched in this way. They are arranged. Suppose you can consider this particular one as one tissue. This particular area is one cell. This particular one is another cell, and this particular one as another cell. So all the cells, 3 cells here I mentioned, 3 cells are connected with each other with the help of a branching system. You can check here. With the help of a branching, right? Let me draw again, then clearly you will understand here. So this area is known as branches because one tissue is connected with another tissue, or one cell is connected with another cell with the help of branches, so that we call them as branching cells. We call them as branching cells. And they are uninucleate in nature. What is meant by uninucleate? What it means, uninucleate? Single nucleus is located in the each cell. Suppose here you see this one, this one, this one. Each cell consists of a single nucleus, not more than one. Only single nucleus is located. Okay, single nucleus. So that we call them as uninucleate. Branching, uninucleate. Okay, and they are responsible for the rhythmic movements performed by the heart. Okay, and slight striations also can be observed when you see this under microscope. Slight striations, slight patches also can be seen under microscope. Okay, it's not like skeletal tissue. Skeletal tissue, they have the dark striations. or concentrated striations, but in case of cardiac tissue we don't see the concentrated one, slight striations can be observed. Okay, and cardiac tissue also performs involuntary actions, because heart movement can you control? No, movement of heart we can't control. So the cardiac tissue function is involuntary in nature, and especially for the functioning of heart or the rhythmic movements of the heart is under control of this cardiac tissue. Okay, even you can check this microscopic view, Amma. This is the microscopic view. They are intercalated discs are located in that, and they have the nucleus, single nucleus is located in them. Okay, so this is the microscopic view or microscopic structure of the cardiac tissue. Whenever you observe this under microscope like this, it can be appeared. And why it is in the pink color it is appearing? Main reason because of the stain. When we use any stain, especially saffron, in when we use, the color is absorbed by the organelles, cell organelles, and it can be appeared in that particular color. Okay, so that is about cardiac muscle tissue. And what is the third type of muscle tissue? It's nothing but the smooth muscle tissue. Smooth muscle tissue. So the best example, let me say, about smooth muscle tissue, the movement of food in alimentary canal or the contraction and relaxation of blood vessels are involuntary movements, right? Food movement in alimentary canal means when the food is passing through your gut, that is involuntary. You can't stop the movement. Once you swallow the food, you can't stop the movement, right? And blood vessels movement, contracting and relaxation of the blood vessels also you can't stop. So both are involuntary in action. We cannot really start them or stop them simply by wanting to do so. So smooth muscles or involuntary muscles control such movements. They are also found in the iris of the eyes. So what is the other location? Iris of the eye. I hope you know what is meant by iris. Iris is responsible for eye color is decided by the iris. At the same time, iris consists of some type of muscles which are involuntary action, which allows the light to enter. Depend on the environmental light brightness, this iris performs the movement for the increasing and decreasing of the pupil size. Okay, so that is a type of smooth muscle. Okay, even they are also found in the iris of eye, in ureters, and in the bronchi of the lungs. I hope what is meant by ureter. Suppose you see, these are the kidney. Here ureters are located, which is connected with the bladder. So these are the ureters. Ureter. So these ureters consist of this type of smooth muscles. Even in the bronchi of the lungs, in the lungs bronchi are located, right? So those also consist of these smooth muscles, because all those functions are completely involuntary in action. They are not under our control, and with consciousness we can't control the movements. Okay, so coming to some of the characteristics of smooth muscles, you can see they are spindle in shape. Structure wise, if you see, they are spindle in shape. You know what is meant by spindle, right? Spindle generally used while you are playing with the kites, right? So this type of one, even rolling pin also, you know, a similar type of structure it is, and they are uninucleate, and there is no striations. Uninucleate and there is no striations. Okay, so characteristics, once you let me tell you, smooth muscles has no striations, they are spindle in shape, they are single nucleus, involuntary, and no cautious control. You cannot control the function of this involuntary muscles. So that smooth muscle function also we can't control, because they are located in the involuntary organs. They found mainly in the walls of hollow intestines, bladders, stomach, uterus, even ureters, even in the blood vessels, because their control, their movement is not under our control. They are slow, sustained, and tireless. So slowly they function, they perform their functions, but continuously they perform their function. Okay, so that is the characteristics about smooth muscles. You can check the structure of the smooth muscle, amma. Clearly you can observe here. I told you, no, they are spindle in shape. You can check here, spindle structure. This is the microscopic view. If you observe the shape, it's spindle in nature. Okay, and this is the smooth muscle which is located in the bronchi, in the lungs. Okay, so that is about smooth muscles. With this we have finished 3 different type of muscle tissues. They are skeletal muscles, cardiac muscles, and smooth muscles. Okay, I hope you understood the concept. Thank you.